This is one of my favorite parts, inside the brand mantra. The brand mantra is a genetic code for your brand. It consists of 3 words that stand at the core of your brand and best define who you are and what your brand stands for, epitomizing the essence of your brand and the core value that you offer your customer. It's the sole reason that customers will part with their money for your brand. A brand mantra is the key to unlocking the secrets of a brand's DNA. The brand mantra is at the heart of a brand and the most important element in setting the compass for your brand. It defines what you are and what you are not as a brand. Generally, it consists of 2 adjectives and a noun. Sometimes people try to sneak in a 4th word into the brand mantra, but I find that using only 3 words forces you to select the best choice of words. As a brand steward, you must get the brand mantra right before you can steward any brand without damaging it. I personally prefer to create the brand mantra as the first step in developing any brand, as everything else falls into place only after the brand mantra is established. A brand mantra is essentially the brand steward's attempt to place the brand inside the customer's mind map. Scott Bedbury defines the brand's mantra in his new book, A Brand New World, with the following examples of brand mantras that he has created. Disney, fun, family, entertainment. Starbucks, rewarding everyday moments. Nike, authentic athletic performance. The brand mantra clearly defines who and what the brand is, and who and what the brand is not. This is the most critical part of your brand. If the brand mantra is not clear and concise, you run the risk of diminishing the value of your brand. Once you define the brand mantra for your brand, post it in big letters on your wall for all to see as a compass for all future brand efforts. Avoiding brand dilution. Customers perceive value inside the brand's natural boundaries. Treading outside these natural boundaries may weaken or destroy the perceived value of the brand. A well-targeted and defined brand mantra enforced by an enlightened brand steward will serve to prevent ego-driven corporate hacks from extending the brand across territories outside of the brand's natural core value proposition. By extending outside what nature defines your brand, you weaken the brand to such an extent that the brand holds less value to the customer, which becomes readily apparent when the customer can no longer identify what the brand stands for. Al and Laura Rise offer the definitive thesis on this subject in their book, The 22 Immutable Laws of Branding, in which they allude to the current identity dilemma surrounding the Chevrolet brand. The authors point out that the Chevrolet brand has been so extended in its attempt to encompass all things to all people that it now stands for nothing. As GM has positioned the Chevy brand, it stands for low-priced neon cars, family-priced cars, mid-priced cars, SUVs, trucks, and a Corvette sports car, by the way. So what is a customer to think? Now, a Ferrari is an exotic sports performance car. A Rolls-Royce is the ultimate luxury car. A BMW is the ultimate driving machine. But what is a Chevy? Had Chevrolet established and abided by a strong brand mantra, the Chevrolet brand would hold a substantially stronger meaning and value to its customers today. Brands must be authentic. They must show their grit in smell and feel. To be authentic, your brand must be believable and position itself as the real deal. There's no dispute that the East India Company brand is the textbook definition of the true brand authenticity. This 400-year-old brand at one time controlled 1/2 of the world's trade and 1/5 of the world's population. This brand exiled Napoleon. It won 3 opium wars. It was the subject of the Boston Tea Party. It colonized India, Africa, and Asia and ruled Hong Kong for 150 years. And oh, by the way, it chartered the Mayflower, and its flag became the American flag. And the Disney Pirates of the Caribbean movie series features this brand. The East India Company brand is the real deal. Brands that are not true to the culture they represent are easily detected and non-believable, and therefore not authentic. Now, Taco Bell serves a product widely accepted by Americans, but no one believes that they are partaking of authentic Mexican cuisine. The Taco Bell brand is accepted by its customer base because it makes no attempt to advertise itself as authentic Mexican cuisine. As a Mexican-inspired brand, it's authentic to its brand culture. The brand promise. This is the key promise that your brand delivers that the competitors do not or cannot deliver on. This promise is a guarantee from you, from your brand to the customer, that it will provide a certain value of service or benefit to the customer, just like, Avis is the brand that tries harder, right? So here's an example of a brand promise that I created just to demonstrate this, to give you an idea of how to create your own. It's a fictional automotive fuel additive brand that I call White Lightning. So the brand promise is, pour it in, feel the difference. The White Lightning brand delivers this key promise that competitors do not. The promise is a guarantee from the brand to the customer that it will provide a certain unique value or benefit to the customer. The reputation and longevity of a brand relies upon its ability to maintain its pledge of expectations to the customer. A brand must always meet the promise to sustain its reputation. The Coke promise is, it's the real thing. It's a brilliant brand promise as it inherently repositions its competition in the set as not the real thing. Burger King promises its customers, have it your way. The Polaroid's promise of instant chemical photo prints is no longer of value in a digital age. The brand USP, and USP again is the unique selling proposition. So the USP is what differentiates your brand from all others. It answers the question, why should I buy your product over the competition? A great USP is fresh hot pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed. Now that led Domino's to dominate the pizza category and literally built the company. So simply put, the USP is a phrase that must deliver more value to a customer than the value of money in their pocket. Another great brand USP is Geico. 15 minutes saves you 15% or more on car insurance. It's clear, concise, genius to the point. The brand mantra and the brand USP are critical in setting the compass for your brand. Getting these two elements of your brand identity right is the major part of setting your compass for your brand and the reason if you'll be successful or not. So where do I get a brand USP? And if I don't have a USP for your brand, well, we'll discuss where to look for one later on in these videos as we discuss the customer value analysis. A customer value analysis study will help you to identify what irritates your customers, and customer irritations are generally the seedbed in the creation of new customer value propositions. Customer irritations of today, when resolved, become the customer value propositions of tomorrow. For example, standard transmission shifting was an irritation for many in the early automobile era, where drivers who had difficulty using a clutch would suffer. So with the invention of automatic transmission, the customer irritation was converted into a value-added proposition with automatic transmission. Your job is to identify the benefit that delivers most value to your customer and convert this value into a short and simple USP statement. So let's talk about some brand DNA applied examples so we know how to actually use one. We're going to invent a new brand identity and USP here, so follow with me, and we're going to show you how to legitimately own and create a brand position in a crowded market segment and flush out the structure for a successful brand. Obviously, every market segment and product is unique and will require its own creative solutions. So let's walk through some steps of creating and defining an identity for an automotive fuel additive brand. Right, so we're going to create a new brand. Let's walk through the process of creating a new brand step by step. Now, the automotive fuel additive category is filled with century-old, big old oil brands like Mobil, Valvoline, STP, and each of those touts its own chemical superiority. So to launch a new brand within this tough category, our brand has to identify and stand out from the rest of the pack as a legitimacy being a tough challenger for a highly competitive business sector. Now, defining the brand USP, let's create a new fictitious brand, once again for the purpose of demonstration, and our goal for this effort is going to be to own a distinctive and unique position within the product category of this market segment. So here's my thinking, all right? Looking at the whole category, arguably NASCAR is the most valuable brand within the automotive category. We can't afford to pay NASCAR a license fee because we're just a small challenger brand. So here's what we do. What if we could own the positioning of being the brand whose culture gave birth to NASCAR? Now, we would own a distinctive and unique market position riding the coattails of the biggest brand in the business. To achieve this, one only has to know the history behind NASCAR. Now, a quick history lesson. Moonshine and the birth of stock car racing. Now, as you know, in the Great Depression, many poor southern dirt farmers sold moonshine to survive. They modified their cars for maximum speed. Their rear seats were removed to make way for moonshine. Engines were souped up to run faster, and leaf springs were put in to add and pull more weight. Some even added bulletproof steel plates to the front of the radiator. So bootlegging was a regular day job, and on the weekends were spent bragging about who had the fastest car. So Sunday afternoon, races happened and started appearing in empty fields, and these determined bragging rights. After World War II, racing groups began to actually form nationally, and they fenced in pastures, and tickets started to be sold to crowds of up to 5,000. By 1960, the purses grew, and the last of the moonshine runners were converted over into racers, and the legacy of these moonshine men and their machines became the foundation of the American stock car racing sport. We've just taken a piece of real history and we're going to use this to make a brand. So we're going to talk about how we're going to create a brand new brand with a distinctive market position of value. So your new brand's unique and distinctive market position within the fuel additive category is, we're the guys who helped invent stock car racing. Now that's a powerful brand position if you can swing it. So we're going to start with a story about moonshine and car racing. It's much more interesting than a story about a big oil company and its latest technology. We're going to talk about the birth of Southern stock car racing, and this is a story that people want to hear. Within this platform, we can legitimately create the White Lightning brand. For those who may not know, White Lightning is a term for moonshine or illegal manufactured untaxed alcohol. Now, let's talk about our brand USP. So, our brand USP would be as follows, written in the style and voice and vernacular of the brand. White Lightning is made by the good old boys that helped invent Southern stock car racing and who know a good bit about alcohol additives and high-octane performance fuel accelerants. How can you lose when White Lightning brand is all about two of the things men crave most in life, alcohol and fast cars? Now, the brand mantra for White Lightning brand is this: authentic, speed, performance. Now, the brand story is, following our new brand positioning statement above, we will create a brand story that centers around and establishes the brand's culture and roots in what I call the deep branding. This story reflects the style and culture of the brand's personality. One day, Sheriff Tate finally caught up with Pappy and the boys on the old two-lane dirt road. After a night in jail, Pappy set them boys on the straight and narrow, making fuel additives for the local stock car drivers. Soon, Sunday circuit drivers from other counties were knocking at the door, seeing if they could get them a bottle of Coleman's Best. Today, White Lightning brand performance fuel additives are a legend in the Southern stock car circuit, and them boys aim to make Pappy proud with every bottle, so if you have a need for speed, do like Pappy says and just pour it in and feel the difference. So what's the brand personality of the White Lightning brand? Well, the personality could be best summed up as Jack Daniels meets the Dukes of Hazzard, so our brand personality pitch may go something like this. Now we don't brew whiskey no more, but we do still make our performance fuel accelerants by the barrel. So if you have a need for speed, get you a bottle of White Lightning brand. Now the brand icons. The 1958 Robert Mitchum movie classic Thunder Road personifies this brand, as does the lightning bolt from the bottleneck and whiskey style label graphic execution. The bottle copy extends the deep branding with the addition of the following statements: Whiskey runner tested and proven in the hills of Tennessee. And caution, White Lightning performance fuel accelerants may consistently outperform U.S. government-issued vehicles. Let's go back and look at how this brand could best be positioned across the customer value set and in the brand DNA mix. The product is fuel additives, and the placement, of course, is automotive aftermarket, lube shops, and mass market retail. The positioning is authentic stock car racing originator. The price is value price. The packaging is whiskey-shaped bottle, and the promotion is that we'll have a rollout program that follows through, and of course the brand identity and the mantra, it's authentic speed performance. It's made by the good old boys who helped invent Southern stock car racing and who know a good bit about alcohol additives and high-octane fuel performance accelerants, and the brand story is the moonshine technology that built the Southern stock car racing circuit. The brand personality is, if you have a need for speed, get you a bottle of White Lightning brand, and the icon is lightning bolt with a whiskey bottle shape. The promise is, pour it in, feel the difference. So that's how we build a brand and different pieces that make it work. Now, let's take a look at a brand that we're all familiar with, we all know, and this is going to help you understand how brand DNA works. So if you think about the United States of America, it's a brand. And I'm going to prove it to you. The name, Brand America. The product. What is the product? Freedom in the American way. What's the legend? Do we have a brand legend? Yes, America has a brand legend. It's the story behind the brand is none other than the Declaration of Independence that states, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bonds, and it goes on, and this is the story of the origin of our country and the origin of United States brand. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are all endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Where does this come from? These are the story of our country and how it is. This is our legend. So the brand overview, to introduce the brand, Brand America is universally acknowledged as the world's flag of freedom. Brand America is the beacon of prosperity, welcoming all who cherish the spirit of liberty and the self-governments of humanity. We're first in category. We are the original source of all human freedom. The brand position is where our brand resides in the customer's mind map. The land of the free, the home of the brave. Where does that come from? God bless America. All these parts already exist. You just don't know them. We're going to show you how they work now. So we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. That's the Declaration of Independence. What is our brand promise? The promise that our brand delivers that competitors do not. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness comes from Declaration of Independence. What is our brand unique selling proposition? What differentiates our brand from all others? Government by the people, for the people, and of the people. The Gettysburg Address. The brand mantra. What's the genetic code for the brand? The 3 words that define the fundamental core values of the United States. Liberty, freedom, self-rule. The brand personality. What the brand would tell you if it could speak. It would tell the customer. It would say, America, love it or leave it. Let freedom ring. Give me liberty or give me death. The customer mindset, where the customer perceives your brand against the competitive set. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled yearning masses, yearning to breathe free. Emma Lazarus on the Statue of Liberty plaque. The competitive set, list the competition, what's out there, okay? Communism, dictatorship, autocracy, fascism, monarchy, theocracy. What are our product channels? What is our products? Where will our products be sold? Currently distributed in North America with various points of worldwide distribution. That's what we could say. Product flavors related to American cultural exports. Well, we have Hollywood, Microsoft, Coca-Cola, FedEx, McDonald's, Apple, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Boeing, Starbucks, Google. It goes on. So let's talk about primary brand conceptual messages. These are the messages that Brand America exudes to all. And I'm going to try to talk about some of these that might be using copy points or advertising things like that, if this was a brand. Okay. We the people, that's the U.S. Constitution. In God we trust, that's the motto. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. That's the Great Seal of the United States. What's our target audience? The core target market is all humanity and its tired masses yearning to breathe free. What's our competitive positioning? This is our position against our category leader. One nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all, from the Pledge of Allegiance. Our brand leadership positions, where we will lead the category: technology, medicine, entertainment, software, military, humanitarianism, philanthropy, cultural exports. Our brand awareness, define recognition, if any. Well, we have over 200 years of spreading freedom worldwide. What are the brand icons? The U.S. flag, the Great Seal, the Statue of Liberty, Mount Rushmore, the bald eagle, U.S. currency. Why we will win versus the competition. It is the self-evident truth that all men are created equal and are endowed with certain unalienable rights, the Declaration of Independence. Therefore, Brand America will succeed to inspire and attract the best and brightest minds across the globe. Next up, creating the brand DNA template.